Greetings everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Captain Ryan. Today's YouTube video is going to be my first impressions review of the USS Alabama. Yes, that's right, I went out and I picked up the Brawling Bama here in World of Warships. And I picked it up because I like the way this ship looks. I think this ship is pretty damn sleek and the angles on the bow are absolutely gorgeous. Aside from that, it's always worth having a wonderful Tier 8 battleship that I can play, that I enjoy playing, that's not the Bismarck or the Tirpitz. And the Bama fits that bill nearly perfectly. Once I have a 19-point commander to put on it that has the skills that I want, I think this ship will be 100% what I want. And speaking of skills, as the battle gets underway here, let's take a look at what I've got for those skills. Captain skills wise, I've got expert marksman, I've got superintendent, but you'll notice I've got manual secondaries and concealment expert, and both of those are excellent on this ship. For modules, I've got the concealment module, rudder shift module, damage control mod 1, secondary battery mod 2, increasing that secondary battery range and accuracy, and magazine security 1 to prevent detonations. As the battle gets underway, it's the North map in the winter mode version. It is a tier 10 game, and it's domination match mode. Now, I've told my team that I am pushing up to the B camp point, and as I push up there with some support from my teammates, a lot of enemy ships up there. There's at least a Shimakaze that's over here as all of those torpedoes went by. You could see them there. And it's also probable that the enemy Fletcher is back over here too, because there were a lot of torpedoes in addition to the Shimakaze's torpedoes. At this point, I really haven't taken too much damage, and I haven't really dealt much in the way of damage. Now you might be wondering why I would pick manual secondaries on a US battleship. And the commander that I have on this ship is actually the commander that I use on my Missouri, and is technically trained for my Colorado, so I use him on the Colorado as well. And the reason I pick manual secondaries on these high-tier US battleships is people like to forget, yes, they may only be 127mm guns, but those 127mm guns are in dual-purpose, dual-mounted turrets. And you've got a lot of them. You have 5 of those turrets per side on your ship, and they're the same exact turrets that you get on the Atlanta, that you get on the Gearing, and their rate of fire is actually pretty damn good. Well, not as quickly as the Atlanta or the Gearing, because they're just secondary batteries. They are still excellent with their rate of fire, which means you could put out a high volume of fire on this ship in a very short period of time. Combine that with advanced fire training when I have a 19-point captain, the range on these guns will be about 7 kilometers. And when dealing in a brawling situation, which the Alabama is very suited for, given its torpedo protection and its armor protection, having a 7-kilometer range on your secondaries, even if they're 127mm, is going to annoy the hell out of your enemies. It's like effectively bringing an additional gearing strapped to the side of your ship that's just going to start pecking away at them while you slug them for big hits. And speaking of big hits, I managed to hit that battleship up there for a nice fat citadel as I push up towards the C cap point. Now, my team has capped the C cap point. The enemy team's in the process of capping A, but they have the D cap point, and they managed to secure a first blood on our destroyer. Specifically, they secure first blood on a destroyer who was being an idiot. Put a nice solid number of rounds into the bow of this Mogami, who is more focused on torpedoing the Yamato, and why not? It's a Yamato. If you can get in that situation to kill one, you should take it. But as a result of his decision, he's going to get taken out by the friendly destroyer here. And speaking of destroyers, there is one of them right there. The enemy Shimakaze has popped up, just backing up out of his smoke, and this could be a little bit of a problem, but I'm slowing way down. I'm also kind of trying to turn here to get my bow towards that Shimakaze. The torpedo protection on this ship is excellent, as we will see in, I believe, this battle here very shortly. You just don't end up taking a lot of damage from torpedoes. More importantly, you don't really seem to take flooding damage nearly as prevalently. Putting shots out here with my secondaries and my main batteries onto this battleship, and there are the torpedoes. Now, the Shimakaze's done a widespread, so I'm not in danger of getting hit by just, like, all of them all at once. This one, however, gonna hit me on the bow, does cause flooding, doesn't cause that much damage, though, comparatively speaking. Secondaries are continuing to blaze away at this battleship. And more torpedoes coming in there, but they look like they're more focused on the friendly destroyer behind me than they are trying to torpedo whatever's in the forward section of the smoke screen, which is me. Enemy battleship disappears as detectability is no longer up for him, but he can still see me, which is really one of the more annoying things about smoke right now. He does manage to hit me for a huge amount of damage there in the bow, but he is almost dead, and I'm almost not tempted to shoot him, and I decide to let my secondaries finish him off, and he gets taken out with fire. Put a nice amount of rounds into that battleship, who was broadside on, and that's when the enemy Shimakaze pops up. He's again sending all of his torpedoes at the other destroyer. Flag him for secondaries, and they're going to go ahead and rip into him. Managed to drop his health way down with my shots. Can I finish him off? Yes, I do. Close quarters expert. And now I've got another battleship. Flagged for secondaries as I'm turning my ship hard. Trying to get my ship turned so that I'm at least angled to him as it is right now. If he managed to get shots into me, that could be bad, but it doesn't look like he's really paying much attention to me at this particular moment in time, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He manages to run aground onto the sinking hull of his friendly teammate, and I'm kind of wondering if this guy might have been a bot, or just not care, because he's taken a lot of damage, and he's just allowing me to rip into him without returning much in the way of fire. I finally put out the fires that his secondaries have set. Can I get the kill on him? Come on. He's almost dead. Yes, I do manage to finish him off. Now I'm going to get my ship turned back around because I'm giving broadside to this other battleship over here, and he's going to get shots out. Ooh, there they go. They do hit my bow. They cause some damage. Like all US battleships, even with the best of armor and the best citadel protection you can get, you still are very susceptible to taking high regular penetration damage on your bow. Friendly destroyer behind me decides he's going to try and get torpedoes off of that battleship. Doesn't matter anyway, he's long dead, but he did at the very least warn me in chat, if you paid attention there, that he was going to want me to turn the other way to avoid getting hit by his torpedoes. I will tell you that in the battles that I've played in this ship, the torpedo protection, the fire protection in this ship is surprisingly good. Of the 4 battles that I've played in it, I've actually only survived 2 at this point, but I've earned fireproof in both of those as I take out another battleship for my 4th kill. The enemy team is now starting to cap the C cap point, and they're going to start capping the B cap point as well, which is going to basically keep them in the game. It's the enemy Fletcher who is up there. Going back to what I was saying, I've earned Dreadnought and Fireproof consistently with this ship. It's amazing the amount of damage and punishment the Bama can take. Now I get turned around here. I'm taking kind of perspective shots. I'm kind of hoping to hit this guy and reset him on the cap, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case as he disappears from detectability. But I know roughly where he's at. And I know he's back there because if he was anywhere else, I would either see him or the friendly destroyer would see him. He does lay a smoke screen, which is going to make this a little more difficult. And of course, we all know how long the Fletcher's smokescreen lasts. Enemy team, uncontested at B, is going to take that cap point. So they're going to have all 4, but they are only down to 3 ships. The ship capping at B is the Benson, and we're going to see him at the end of this battle. But looking at the minimap, you can see this North Carolina pushing up the side of that island, heading my direction. So this is going to be a pretty decent matchup to explain exactly how well the 2 ships fare against each other. Enemy Fletcher almost dead. Can I get the kill on him? Yes, I do manage to do it, and that is my Kraken Unleashed in the Brawling Bama. And look how much damage I've managed to do so far in this game. Well over 140,000 so far. And I've still got a ship left to shoot at. Thanks to concerted effort on my team, we managed to maintain control of the C cap point, take out the Fletcher, and now the enemy Benson is trying to get in with some fire action on me. And that Benson is actually going to prove to be more annoying than anything else at the end of this game. Yes, their team could still win it. The scores are fairly close because they do have so many cap points. Of course, my team is finally starting to cap the D cap point, and hopefully we'll have somebody push into the B cap point soon. Managed to citadel that North Carolina, who presents broadside coming around that island headland there, and he is turning, so he's not going to give me the best angle here, and I want to get my guns in position to try and hit him as I pass. But of course, one of my guns is not quite reloaded. Nope, they're not going to reload in time, and it's too late as I pass here. But wait, my rear turret swinging around. Come on, come on, click, 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 click. Get that in there. Yes, finish him off for my high caliber to go with my Confederate. That was some frantic clicking there as I waited for the green angle to pop up and just hoped that I went right into his wonderful broadside. And a nice close pass there. Guns too slow to track. And as a result, having my rear turret swing around just right worked out conveniently for me. This Benson, however, very annoying as he's got me on fire in 2 locations, although I think only one of those fires might have actually been caused by him, and the other one probably caused by that North Carolina's secondaries. But there, as you can see, look how many secondary hits I have in this battle at this point. Manual secondaries on US battleships really does do an amazing job. And of course, it's all because it, again, is like having a gearing or having an Atlanta strapped to the side of your ship. Now, for the rest of this battle, I'm telling my team that they need to go cap the B cap point, and I'm going to try and keep myself maneuvering around to avoid any potential torpedoes from that Benson. And of course, the Chapayev is also doing that as well. The chat, for the most part, is going to focus on just asking the Chapayev if he's got radar capabilities and can radar this guy. The armor layout on this battleship compared to the Iowa, the Missouri, and the Montana. The Citadel sits at the waterline instead of above the waterline like it does on those other ships. So in respect, it's much more difficult to actually Citadel this ship, and in the battles that I've played with this ship, this has proven to be the case where I'm having really just a difficult time getting in there. And even more so, I find that with the Alabama, I'm having a difficult time actually penetrating other Alabamas. The armor scheme seems to be pretty good at most ranges. Then again, the hidden Sigma values, if you buy into that, do make the dispersion on this ship kind of wonky from time to time. RNGesus does not necessarily want to play ball with this ship all the time. And as you can see there, I managed to hit that Benson and nearly kill him, but not enough to finish him off and secure a 7th kill. And of course, he's maneuvering hard, so all these shots coming in, really just not managing to land home, which is more annoying than anything, as he does manage to set me on fire again. And I can't afford that fire since I have no heals and repairs available at the moment. So I put that fire out very quickly and just kind of hope he stops shooting at me, which he does as he drops off detectability to try and survive the game. The armor on the ship, I find, is actually pretty good, and even in tier 10 matchups does reasonably well. You're going to take big hits on the bow and on the stern, but I'm pretty sure that the Montana there, the battleship, while I was in smoke, who shot me into the bow, I'm not sure he actually citadeled me so much as he just got a bunch of regular penetrations, because the Citadel music, that sound, didn't play. So I'm thinking that might have just been regular damage, which point-blank range against the Montana would actually be a pretty damn good result. My team is finally capped the B cap point. We now hold 3 of the 4 cap points, and we are just gaining on points as the enemy team doesn't have a lot left to do. That Benson, he's going to continue. He's somewhere back behind that island because I'm no longer detected, but he keeps popping in and out of detectability, so I know he's within 12 kilometers. The advantage to the concealment expert on the US battleships, of course, that 12-kilometer detection range means that with something like the Alabama, which is meant for brawling, I can actually get up nice and close to most of my potential victims before they know it. And like the New Mexico and the Colorado, getting in to that 12-kilometer range means you're just going to more accurately land shots right where you want them to cause those big damage strikes. And there's that Benson, he's very low health. I get shots out there, but it doesn't matter. We cap out on points. 180,956 damage in this battle. Almost 181,000 damage. 841,000 credits earned. Almost 10,000 XP. I don't think I have the Papa flags on here, so only 471 free XP, but look at that. Fireproof Confederate, Close Quarters, Dreadnought, High Caliber, and Kraken Unleashed. Top of the team for XP earned there with 2,500 base. Almost 600 more than the next nearest person on my team. Overall, I really like this ship, and I think as I play it more, I'm only going to grow to love it more. But this is just an initial impression, and I will come back later with a second follow-up to this when I've played more than 25 battles in it. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and my channel, you can do so becoming my supporter on Patreon. Any support level will grant you access to some of my World of Warships replays and screenshots early, as well as other perks at other levels. If you've got a World of Warships replay that you'd like to see on my channel, you can send it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play World of Warships live, among other games, you can do so by following my Twitch channel. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below, and as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.